Okay, I believe we're recording. Hey guys, it's KJ from For Life Coaching. I wanted to share with you a oh wait, I'm sorry. Here we go. Hi guys, it's KJ from For Life Coaching here tonight. I wanted to talk to you about or introduce you to my guest tonight, and the way that I'm going to label him, or the way that I'm going to label this segment, is called Beyond Limits. And when I looked up the word limits, limit is a restriction on the size or amount of something permissible or possible. And when you hear his story, you will know that he goes way beyond what is expected, what could be perceived as being possible. So I'm here today with, can I say Captain Lamonte Massie?
Yeah, I guess retired, but it's been a while. But yeah,
okay, so we'll say retired. We'll say retired.
Okay, whatever you choose.
We're gonna say retired, retired Captain Lamonte Massie, but he's also Coach Lamonte Massie. He is the athletic director at Livingstone College. Let me tell you a little bit about Lamonte. So he went to high school in New York. He actually went to Syracuse, New York. And the funny thing is, I went to visit my friend David in New York at Syracuse, and he said, Kelly, it's just a few hours away from Parsippany, or, you know, just a little bit away from Parsippany. So I'm thinking it's an hour, but it's like way, way up there in snow country from where I'm from. So we'll talk a little bit about the snow. Yeah, way up there, right? So he went to Tuskegee. He went to retired Captain Lamonte Massie. He was there. He pledged Alpha Phi Omega. Am I correct?
Yes, right.
Okay. And he was in the ROTC program. Well, listen, after graduation, he went to the military, where he actually went up the ranking to a captain, up the ranks to a captain. Am I correct? So he went to high school in New York. He actually went to Syracuse, New York. And the funny thing is, I went to your.
No, go ahead.
You retired as a what?
As a captain, but I was in the reserves as a captain. So
in the reserves.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was in the reserves as a captain. He served our country for 22 years. In 2000, he actually was asked to start a brand new football program at Edward Waters College in Florida. At the same time, he was teaching military classes. He was a professor. From 2005 to 2007, he was actually asked to be a commissioner for the Southeastern Atlantic Conference. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right. Don't blush now. There's more to
I didn't know you. I didn't even know you knew all that, but I got you.
wait until the interview happens. Then you're really gonna blush.
Oh, okay.
Because what you've done, as I said, goes beyond limits, and amazing. So anyway, then afterwards, he went to Livingstone College. He served as athletic director there from 2007 to 2010. Am I correct?
9 and some change. Yeah.
Okay, 2007, 2009, close to 10.
But I was still here as the head coach football, so that's probably where that window was. So, but go ahead.
Okay, but let me go back once again to Edwards Waters so that you can really understand the magnitude of what I'm saying. He had to start a program from scratch. They had disbanded their football program altogether, and they asked him to come in and start a football program. And while there, at the end of his 4th season, they were actually ranked number 14 in HBCU sports. They were also ranked number 8 in the TSPN, and that is for the mid-sized Black colleges in the SWAC. In 2004, they won the Southeastern Atlantic Conference, right? And guess what? Guess who won the Coach of the Year that year? Yes, he won the Coach of the Year that year as well. With regards to, please forgive me, with regards to Livingstone, he has a strong emphasis on academics. So 6 freshmen, his first year received all CIA awards. All CIA awards. Okay, and
CIAA.
I'm sorry, CIAA. I'm sorry, I forgot CIAA.
No problem. Don't forget the
A. His first year at Livingstone, first time in the history of Livingstone, 50% of his football players received a 3.0 GPA or better. Then he moved to Georgia, and he was the assistant athletic director at Savannah State. Then in his spare time, he founded Valiant. Whereas realistically, sometimes that is our training ground for excellence, right?
Yes,
Some of
it
the
is.
things that you learn there.
Yeah,
So
it
why do
is.
you play football? Why do you play football in college?
There's a couple of reasons. Well, the main one, the very main one, is I dislocated my left shoulder in high school, and it was a severe dislocation. And I also had a couple of concussions, and it was kind of challenging for
That
me.
there were limits.
Yeah, well, see, you got to think this is 1985. You know, you
The
get your
discipline you
bell rung.
receive is helping you to process certain things.
I'm sorry, say it again.
So you said it was in 1985, you dislocated your shoulder, and I was asking you about going to playing college football.
Well, let me rephrase it. It was 1984, and dislocated my shoulder. Had a couple of concussions. I was, about 150. I was no really great football player because I didn't do the things I needed to do, such as lift weights and all the other stuff, because I was going through just personal stuff at home. No excuse, but at the end of the day, I didn't, I was a decent athlete.
You weren't prepared.
Huh?
You weren't prepared.
Nah, I didn't prepare
You
myself.
weren't prepared to play in college.
Nope, I wasn't. I was in my pity role throughout high school. I had low self-esteem. Shoot. I mean, you name it, it went down. The young lady I was supposed to go to the prom with, she canceled 2 weeks before the prom. I'm like, man, what in the world? I'm like, but it didn't stop me because the goal for me was to go to college. And my goal was to go to college, and I wanted to be an electrical engineer, and was going to go to some type of technical school. And then part of it also, I wanted to be in the military. And I let my guidance counselor, when I told her that I was interested in going to Tuskegee, she gave me every reason in the world why I shouldn't go there. And even
really, why?
Well, because she didn't want me to go to HBCU. I mean, that was not something that was pushed in our high school. Most of our
Wow.
there was a few that went to Howard and Hampton and some other places, but they were like, hey, go to Mooresville and go to I think it's Mooresville, but whatever it is down there, go to Syracuse University. Our family couldn't afford Syracuse University, and plus I wanted to leave Syracuse, so I joined the reserves in high school because they had the best package to pay for college and also to become an officer. And so my career track changed because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in the reserves. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get me a BS in electrical engineering, and then I'm gonna do whatever. I'm 17, 18 years old. That was kind of like what I wanted to do at that point. Playing football and being in athletics was not at the top of the list. But then when I got to college, things changed. You kind of start seeing what direction you really want to go, and you kind of get past some of the things that that kind of held you back in the past. The concussions and the dislocated shoulder didn't keep me from joining the Army, so that was my path at that time. The way to pay for my education.
And so going into the military, what did you think? You still got so now you're doing football and you were in the military. Compare some of the benefits or some of the strengthening tools of both. Was military more physical or more mental?
To me, it was more mental, but it
That's what
wasn't
I've
as,
heard.
and because I went to Fort Jackson, Tank Hill, Delta 41, top of the hill. If anybody's out there, they remember that. We were in the old barracks, not the new ones. We're in the new Hollywood and Hollywood at Fort Jackson. It was like, I remember getting there on July 1 and graduating on August 31st. And there was probably 2 days out of that whole 8-week period that we closed the barrack windows. It was so hot in Columbia, South Carolina. I had never been around that much heat before, but I loved it. I just loved the heat. And I enjoyed probably 99.9% of it because I had two Black males that didn't let me, I got to make sure I monitor my words here, that didn't let me
Give away with things.
get away with things. They checked my attitude. They checked everything that I thought I was going, that, I thought I knew stuff, and they checked me on that. Matter of fact, my drill sergeant, he claimed that he remembers me, but I had to let him know that how much him and Drill Sergeant Brodus got me squared away. And in that 8-week period of time, they saved my life, to be honest with you. I mean, because
Wow.
yeah, I was going to college, but had I not had that experience, for them to check my attitude and kind of let me know that, you ain't, because like when they ask you the different information, they say, what do you want to do? And I said, I'm gonna be an officer. Man, why I say that? They told me, you don't have the leadership skills to be an officer. You not, they had some very colorful language, but at the same time, they made me the squad leader. So it's like, okay, so, is this the game we playing? And then, they hold you accountable. They held me accountable for the failures that our squad did. And, it was just part of the process of becoming a young man. Here I am, 18 years old, and having just a smidgen of responsibility and being held accountable. And that's what I needed. And because I had my natural father was in my life, but I didn't grow up with him. My stepfather, very abusive, just very contentious relationship with him. I got kicked out the house when I was in high school, in my senior year in high school. Just all, you name it. I had all kinds of excuses to go the wrong path. But when I got there, they checked my oil and got me squared away and headed in the right direction. And to those two Black men, I'm so grateful for, because they were the first two very influential and personal men in my life. I had uncles and cousins, but nah, them cats right there didn't hold back. Now, I'm sorry if I went too deep on that.
No, perfect, perfect. So let me ask, so bottom line, they taught you how to be, they were an influence, but they also taught you how to be an influence. They taught you how to influence other people and help people who are actually going through similar situations,
I realized
similar
that
attitude.
back then, I didn't think that at all. But yeah, you're right.
You think that has made you a better coach or better AD? So, I'm going to tell you way too much information. Do you think that was a part of your avenue into being asked to start a brand new program at Edward Waters College? I mean, first of all, let me say the audacity of you to think that you can go and start a brand new program at a university and you don't have, like I said, NCAA experience. I just think that is phenomenal. I think that sometimes we put so many limitations on people and parameters, and we miss the genius that they come in and bring. And keep in mind, you won a championship and you won Coach of the Year without that type of background. So once again, I say to you that I'm just floored by, once again, you going beyond the limits. So do you think that your military experience made you even better or more equipped to do something that was?
Yes. The short answer is yes, but here's the long answer. When I graduated, got a job. Of course, graduated, got married, got a job, married to Felicia Wright Massey. Got to make that plug from Detroit.
and I love my wife.
I love my wife. Yeah, love my wife. All right.
But I am right here. Right.
I ain't gonna say the butt. I ain't say the butt. Did I say butt?
Sweating. I am about to start. No, it's yeah.
Oh, okay.
The plastic in the hair.
There you go. Like I said, huh? So let me tell you what happened. So
I'm just letting you clear my right?
Oh, did you pause? Did you pause me?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So when I got the job as an engineer at Motorola, so I'm on my career path. I eventually changed my major. I didn't get a degree in electrical engineering. I ended up getting in physics. And so because I was in the Signal Corps as an Army officer, and I was enlisted prior to being an officer, so that kind of was, so I had some military experience to help me get the job at Motorola. And I'm probably 6 years in, making 94, 93, 94. I was making decent salary, probably about 67, some change, for 1993. So, I'm feeling good, got some money, like what's his name said, now the steak with the beans and rice. So, but I was still wanting to coach. That feeling was there. And so I scratch. I just did a semi-pro team and built them up from scratch. But this is a college. I'm like, oh, this is the task I like. Being able to structure it out, build it from an embryonic standpoint to a fully developed program. Um, you know, it wasn't about money, because not saying like we were rich or anything, but we're talking about close to a $25,000 pay difference just from my salary to take the job. But we could afford to move, so it wasn't about that. Then the opportunity to develop young men and be an influence in their life, that was important. To be the option, to provide, to be an example of the person that would least likely get a chance to do it, that he actually did it. Didn't play college ball, didn't coach college ball, and here I am, go from semi-pro coach to head coach. Even it's a small college, but period. I recall when I was at when I was at Livingstone, when I was at Edward Waters, we used to take our football staff over to the Jaguars. And there was this guy, we were there for 7 years, but 6 years of it, we would go over to the Jaguars. The first year, I remember this young man, he used to bring the Gatorades out in a little container on the thing, and he would hand them out to the football players and coaches.
On a little cart.
On a little cart, just pull them out. The second year, he had a golf cart, and he had a couple of people working for him, they doing what he was doing. The third year, he was holding a plastic card, and it'd have the rosters of the teams on it. The fourth year, they hired him as a full-time scout, and he made he just made that, And right now, I believe, and I can't remember his exact name, but if it's the same young man, I think he's not with the Cleveland Browns or something like that in their front office. I mean, he just took an opportunity and took advantage of it. He performed at a high level that it got him the next promotion. And I felt that if I went to Edward Waters and I made a change there, then I would end up going from an NAIA school to possibly a Division II school, or even a SWAC or MEAC school. That was what my goal was at 30-something years old. I'm like, yeah. But at the same time, I still enjoyed the small atmosphere. So I was not in no rush to leave, because when we won, my thing with the president was just give me more years. You could throw some more money on it, just kind of make sure I'm here for a while, because I knew the school didn't have a lot of money and we were surviving well. So, my goal again was, develop young men, make them participate citizens, make an impact in the community, on the campus, have some fun, and win. And if you don't win, they're gonna fire you. So, you can't be doing all that other stuff and don't win, because they're gonna get rid of you. And that's kind of like what happened in my 7th year. So we didn't win. They sent me about my way. So, that's how it worked.
So in the 7th year, when you're saying, so in the 7th year they let you go?
Mm-hmm.
So when they let you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, when they let you go, what type of cycle does that start? Because one of the things that I had heard when I interviewed people, I'm talking about, well, tell me from your perspective, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say.
It was tough, because you built the program. When I say you, I don't mean it like possessive me. I mean all of us. We built the program. Right. And the school happened in 2004. We won the conference championship. Then less than a month later, the school lost its accreditation. And
I read that.
And we had maybe 16 student athletes on the squad from the previous 2004 championship team. Now, we were going to lose some because of graduation, but the vast majority of the students and all my football team transferred, because they went to a school that had accreditation. So we had to rebuild the program up from 16 people. And when I say 16, probably about 8 of them were starters. So we basically had to start from scratch all over again that following January. So
what year is this again?
This would have been January 2005.
Okay.
Hold on, make sure I get it right. We won 2005. So we went out, and we it was hard to get somebody to come to a school that didn't have accreditation, right? And the one thing I was not going to do was just leave, because there were a couple of opportunities, and I was like, nah, if they happen, they happen, whatever, down the road. But right now, I was not going to be one of those people that just bailed out. So it's a tough business. And in football, most terminations happen right before Christmas. It's tough, you know. Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Because now you're not only talking about the football player, you're talking about the coach, you're talking about the family.
That's right. And it's
Right.
tough. Because you'll
And then,
basically, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, no, you got, yeah, good.
No, I was just saying, most coaches' contracts may go to July, but or June, uh, or they'll go to January or December. And so, like, if a coach gets let go in December, more than likely they're going to go to the convention and do their networking to hopefully find another job. And that kind of cycles the time period, that December and January and into February time period. But also recruiting is going on. So you got these two things going on. You got the personal level with trying to secure the job, and you got the professional, the business side where you're trying to recruit. And so coaches are probably trying to bring, the head coaches, trying to juggle all these different scenarios. And then some of the coaches find other gigs that pay more and they leave. And hopefully the students that they were recruiting, they don't continue recruiting them at the other institution, but just the way it is. So
I just think it's so impactful on so many levels. It's the coach, it's the coaching staff, it's the student, it's it's the administration, because now they have to learn like a new set of priorities. So the way that you run is not the way that the next person runs. So there's a whole lot of different moving pieces going on with these schools and the football programs and, the football and basketball and all these other kind of things. So with your organization skills and your planning skills, how do you map it out? How do you help to reduce that?
Well, I'll say for Livingstone, we try to do everything, use Outlook, put a calendar together. Like each one of our coaches has to put together a program guide. And in their program guide, they have their inventory, their operating procedures, their code of conduct, all the different aspects of running their organization, their entity within the athletic department, to include, a yearly calendar. And so, for example, I use the Outlook one, but I still have, right here on my desk. Matter of fact, you know, I have my just a basic Outlook calendar, and it has all the months in it. I could just kind of put notes on it, and then I take the notes. Then I take, when I make the changes, then I go into my Outlook, make the adjustments so that we're all on the same sheet of music. Planning out, different quarters of the year. Like right now, we got to start working on our budgets, for the next fiscal year, which fiscal year begins July 1. So there's different phases that you got to make sure that everybody's doing their piece. And for the most part, that helps you run a smooth organization. Now you got to throw the big old curveball of the pandemic. And now you got to start looking at where we would have budgeted for the football team to have 2 buses. Now they have to have 4. Where our men and women's basketball teams.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Spacing.
Oh yeah. Now, where the men and women used to go on one bus, now we got 2. So our transportation costs, our travel costs are going to go up. We have to get like an extra room or 2 when you go on the road as a sick room. I mean, there's a bunch of little things that's very important that you just can't overlook. So you just got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to include everybody, because sometimes you got to make sure that everybody's putting their input in, because as a leader you don't know it all, and if anyone says they do, or you try to do it all, I mean you're fooling yourself, and you won't get anything done. Now, of course, everybody's going to have an opinion, but at the end of the day, the leader just got to make a final this is what we're going to do, and just deal with it, and hopefully, and then if things don't work out, you just make the adjustment and move on. You don't get no pity party and start worrying like, oh man, I can't believe this went wrong. You could say shucks and then just reset and get going. I mean, that's
Ask for
just my
forgiveness.
philosophy. That's just the way I
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Well, that don't work too well with me because I'm a structured person. Because for the most part, if you do that philosophy, more than likely you did something wrong. And like we had to shut down all the athletics this week. because we had a student athlete that tested positive for COVID. And the student athlete played one sport, but played two sports, and he possibly infected another person that plays. I think it may be the gynecologist, or maybe we haven't talked to her yet. I think it's one more. I
No,
couldn't tell you.
no, it wasn't a gynecologist. One was a
Okay.
general practitioner. One was a general practitioner.
Then that
but there
must have
were
been
four.
the general practitioner. That was Dr. Fur.
Okay. Yeah. So I know that there were four that were on your staff, but I just thought that was really impressive that that's actually right there on your page, or one of the page. I don't know. I looked up a bunch of pages, but right there on the page, stating that that's who you bring with you on the field. And I'm quite sure that having that presence is also helping you put together maybe some of the protocol for what's next.
Yes, yes. Our athletic trainer, Jamie Kent, she's also our senior women's administrator. She worked with her and Miss Tripp and Coach Stinson, my senior associate AD. You know, we all worked, collaborated to put together our COVID protocol. And you know, we talk to the people that should know, you know, and having those folks as resources, it kind of helps us out because we get a different perspective from them as well. And so you know, we'll be looking at it again at the end of this semester when the students leave, because things are starting to change again. You know, so where the CDC may now say you could be 3 feet away, well, we might stay still with 6. I don't know. So, you know, it's a matter of what does the NC2A say we should do, the CDC, the state of North Carolina, and what's recommended by these doctors, and also, you know, what the college says, you know. So, you know, we're gonna mix, you know, kind of include all those different entities and what path we go forward with our protocol.
So what are the measurement tools that they use? Do they just use the nose swab, or do they use more than the nose swab to
Right now they do the nose swab. We have a lab that's that collaborates with the college, Ottendorf Labs, I believe. They come on campus, like they do testing every 2 weeks. And that's how we caught the young man that tested positive from last Tuesday's test. So then they came back, or they're coming back tomorrow to test the whole athletic department. So that kind of helps us out, because now they'll be able to give us a response within 24 hours. So you know, it's something. I mean, they come set up in the auditorium, long table. Students come in. It's real quick. They go, you know, it's deep into the nasal cavity, and then they get us a test back within 24 hours.
Have you had any COVID incidents that have kept players from playing or anything like that?
Yes. This will be our 4th one. We had 3 last semester, and one this young man this semester. And
well, from 3 to 1, it's decreasing.
Yeah, it is. And plus it's getting warmer, and the students are a little bit more active than before. So, you know, I'm very concerned about that. But we had to take the precaution with that one, and through the contact tracing, what we need to do, who it could have impacted. And it's better to be safe than sorry, you know.
Yeah. I was actually going to one gym in my area, and I won't say the name of it, but I will say that I was floored because I was going to this gym on a regular basis. There was a person that I was working out with at the gym. I hadn't seen him for a while. I didn't think anything of it, right? He walks up to me, and I always take a picture at the gym because it's, you know, just to show everybody that I'm working out and I'm committed, etc. And he jumped in the back of the picture, and I was like, "Oh my God, how are you?" Right? Gave me a hug, etc. He said, "Well, you haven't seen me in 2 weeks because I had COVID." And I'm thinking like, I'm thinking like, first of all, 2 weeks. I'm going home. I'm showering. I'm scrubbing. I self-quarantined. I didn't want to go out afterwards. But the thing is, guess what?
What's that?
The gym never did contact tracing. The gym never let me know that there was someone, or never let people in the gym know that there was someone in the gym that had COVID. And I was floored. So now that's one part, right? The second part is me. I went up and I told the gym, I said, "Look, I want you to know that this particular person right here, look over here, he had COVID 2 weeks ago, and nobody contacted me. So I'm really disappointed." So I came back the next day because I knew he would probably come like every day. He's in there working out like everything, and you know, once again, they never called, to my understanding is they never called anybody. They never asked him for his contacts or anything like that.
Was he
So
wearing a
I'm glad,
mask?
he was wearing, yeah, he was wearing a mask.
Okay,
He was
okay.
wearing a mask, but he was wearing a mask the first time when he actually got.
My contract, which would have been to the end of June, got let go. You know, we had the biggest recruiting class Benedict ever had up to that point. I mean, I was in charge of all that stuff. All right, so I get let go. So the school then turns around and hires me in their freshman institute. I'm doing our orientation. And really from that point on, my body just started. I couldn't walk too far without being tired. And so progressively my kidneys were failing. And so right at the end of the semester, you know, I couldn't finish the semester. I had to get on sick leave. So my kidneys were at like 20%, maybe at 25. And so that was the middle of December. And so I'm back in Savannah with my family, and I go to, they say, oh, you got to get on dialysis. I'm thinking this is the death march. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just going through it. So I'm at the place, the DeVita place, checking them out, and my kidneys failed at the dialysis location. They call 911. I know I'm laughing, but it was like, oh God. My kidneys are operating like at 17% or something like that. So they put me on
Oh, and what are you
dialysis.
thinking? What do you think? I know you're telling me a story, but what are you thinking? What's going through your head as all this is going on? You go in, you know you're in pain, but you find out you're 17% and you fail. What?
Honestly, at the time, and I know this may sound kind of, I don't know, not grotesque, but morbid. But I'm like, is my insurance paid? Okay. I don't want my kids to see me when I die. I'm just like the worst case scenario. I'm like, okay, I could just, if they just keep me away from the kids, I don't want the kids to see me die, because I'm just thinking this is it. And they put me on dialysis. Then, I get back together. I'm thinking all the administrative stuff. Insurance paid, where are the papers at? Papers in the safe. Okay, we good. So she can, put together everything. That's all I'm thinking about. And then, and I ain't gonna tell a lie. I'm thinking like, is God gonna forgive me for all my sins? I'm like, oh God.
Every time I get sick, I'm not Catholic, but every time I get sick, I go. I went to Catholic school. I do my Hail Mary just to make sure.
I was like, oh my goodness. I said, if he don't, boy, woo, it's gonna be tough. So I end up getting on dialysis. I'm on dialysis for a year and some change. All right. So January.
What is dialysis like? Explain to me.
Oh, wow. Dialysis is basically what they did was I ain't gonna show you. They put a port into let me see, would it be your artery or would it be your vein? I don't know. But anyways, they put a port right here into my shoulder, into either the artery or vein. And it was like a little port just hanging out. And they didn't put a fistula in my arm like you may see a lot of people do dialysis, because I was healthy enough to have the port. And so they put the port in, and you would go in 3 days a week. And I try to get there like 6, 7 in the morning, something like that. And you'll be there for 3 hours. And basically, they filter your blood of all the toxins that your kidney was not taking out and you were urinating out. And you would be there for like 3 hours and 2.5 some change. And then once they finished you're not as your blood's not as oxygenated as before, and you kind of a little weak, but there were people that have been doing that thing for years. I mean, like, I ain't talking about those 2 or 3, like 5, 6, 7, 10, and they just sitting there like, hey, like they just hanging out, and
Are they checking your oxygen while they're doing it?
Yeah, they had the little
Pulse ox?
whatever that's called, that, and
oximeter, the oximeter.
oximeter,
And so
there we go.
So are they coming in and checking the oximeter continuously while you're doing this?
Well, they are with me because fistula dialysis patients, the ones that's going through the arm, they don't have to have a nurse. They just can have a dialysis technician. But the one that's the port that you have in the heart, I mean, through your artery or vein, whichever one, I can't remember. You have to have a nurse has to be there to do it, like a registered nurse. Ain't no CNA, ain't no lab tech. I mean, you got to have a nurse, because that's so, it's such a critical situation. I mean, it's such a critical port. And so you'd be there for 3 hours. My wife would come pick me up. I go home, take a nap. Then I wake up from the nap. I'm feeling good. I'm good for like 2 days. Then by
Wow.
Tuesday night in the evening time, like about this time right now, about 8, 9 o'clock, I start feeling weak again. Then I just get up and you just do it all over. Imagine you turn it on, you're like, oh my good, and some HD, or going to Walmart and looking at the screens on the TVs there. I mean, everything was just vibrant, you know. And I had like
Wow.
this, I was in pain, but I had this energy level, you know, just, you know how you can feel energetic. And it was like, man, I cannot believe, you know, I'm just like, wow. And so that was the beginning. You know, had that surgery, was blessed to have that. Kidney and pancreas transplant, 7 years in less than 2.5 weeks. And I've been able to survive that. And it's been good.
So wait, let me ask something. You said, how many times did you get suited up? Because I understand what you were saying. How many times did you get suited up
13.
for the 13? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me, and how long were you waiting overall to get the match?
14 months.
14 months. Okay, let me just read some statistics to you really quickly. So first of all, March is National Kidney Month.
Right.
As of July 2019, 850 million people worldwide have chronic kidney failure disease, chronic kidney disease. Thank you. The CDC said
I didn't mean to
37
correct
million.
you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I love it. Look, I don't want to give out no false information. Correct me. So the CDC said 37 million adults have chronic kidney disease. Kidney failure, 750,000 new persons per year are diagnosed with kidney failure. As of December 2019, 726,331 were on dialysis. And the average wait for a kidney transplant is, what do you think?
Well, when I was on, it was 5 to 7 years, like 6 and some change. But I was on the kidney pancreas, which actually it was faster. But anyways, I think it's 5 years, 5.5 years now.
It's 3.6 years.
Oh, it's even better. Okay.
3.6 years wait for a kidney transplant in the US. But listen, in Canada, the wait is 6 months.
Dog.
So, 3.6 is better, but 6 months is even better. So, yeah, I just, I knew that we were going to be talking about this, and I wanted to make sure that that I gave people some statistics and some hope. So if somebody is going through this situation, if somebody is diagnosed, or like what would you suggest along the way? Because you're a planner, you're a strategist. What would you suggest from the beginning part? Is there something that you could have done in the very beginning? Is there something you could have done in the middle? Something with regards to the transplant. What could you have done, or what did you do that was a success that can help some people along the way?
Well, for me, I think that mine came through diabetes, of course. And
I was going to say diabetes is very common.
right. And I think I was burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. And
How?
I give work. I mean, just being honest with you, working at a black college, you know, you the AD and the football coach, and you have short staff, and your budgets are tight, and you're trying to make it happen. And then
You're all in. You're all in.
All in. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, people that complain about it, they shouldn't be coaching at a black college. They should go where things are perfect for them. But some people are built for that, but it comes with consequences and repercussions. I mean, you got to kind of be built for that. And I say now you can manage it better. I think people got to, especially like with this COVID situation, you got to kind of reevaluate how you do things. You can still have the same zest and energy, but maybe you can't do 10 things. You could do maybe 5, and do those 5 things really good. So balancing, having a life balance in all the things that you're doing is one thing. 2 is your diet. People, you see I think I see a meme earlier today, and I've seen it before, where if you look at a can of soda, there's 41 grams of sugar in it. And I think like Mountain Dew, or one of them, has 47 grams of sugar. And just looking at putting 47 grams of actual white cane sugar in a container and seeing it, you can kind of, see this is what you're putting in your system. So, watching their diet, because for kidney patients, you're going to be on, you get on dialysis, you're going to get on that renal diet. And I'm a person that loves to eat. That just kind of builds into the situation. I mean, makes it even worse, and then now you're off track. If you're supposed to take your meds at 8 o'clock, take them at 8 o'clock, not 8:15, not 8:30, mess around and you forget, like I'm not going to forget, as a transplant recipient, every day I have a bunch of pills I have to take, and actually
Oh,
at
so is it continued? So is this for the rest of your life that you have to take those pills?
yeah, but it's not that many though. When I first was when I first came off my transplant, I was on 18 meds, and then progressively as each series of months went by, I came off of certain things. So now I'm like on Cellcep and tacrolimus. Those are the two my primary ones that affect your immune system. And then the rest are like supplements. I'm taking a vitamin D. I'm taking a multivitamin. I take an aspirin, a baby aspirin, and what's the other one? I'm going to get off the cholesterol pill by eating more Cheerios, and exercising some more. So I'm only on 6 pills now that I just got to make sure I maintain.
Wow. So being proactive and getting the stuff done, or creating a certain regimen can potentially reduce complications later on, such as being able to use the port in your shoulder versus using the port in your arm.
Right, because when I did the port, yeah, that's different, because what had happened was I transitioned from the port to what they call peritoneal dialysis. Now, the port dialysis, or the hemodialysis, of course, hemo meaning blood, it filtered my blood, and it had a different impact on your body. So what I transitioned to, because I was relatively healthy, is I went to what they call peritoneal. And peritoneal is you have this it's a bag of distillate, and I may be mispronouncing. I'm killing the word. I'm sure it's not pronounced that way, but it's a bag, and
It sounds good. We don't know. Keep going.
and it has certain levels of, it has certain fluids in it, and what you do is you have a port that's in your abdominal area, because you have a seal in your area, in your abdominal area, and it's natural. So they put the port in, and so you drain out all those toxins. Okay. Well, first let me rephrase it. I'm sorry, I'm starting in the wrong order. You first you have this, you use gravity, and it flows into your system. All right. So you put that bag of fluid into your system, then it pulls all the toxins into your abdominal cavity. And then you come back, and oh, I should know this by heart, but maybe 3 hours later, I guess, or 2 hours later, and you do it like 3 times a day. And it takes like 5 minutes to set it up. You lay down on the bed, and you let the fluid just flow out. And it's the strangest thing, because you're looking at this white clear fluid that you're putting in, and then you take the bag and you place it on the floor. So
And it's
gravity
red.
just pulls. No, not red. It'd be a problem if it was red. But
Okay.
it'll look like urine, basically. It'll be yellow. And so, it's coming out, and then you kind of know that it's working. And it doesn't have as big of an impact on your body the way hemodialysis does. So you're pulling all the toxins out your system, but you got to be healthy. You got to be relatively healthy in order to have that. So it pulls all the toxins out your system, but you got to do it 3 times a day. And honestly, I was like, I love this compared to going there for 3 hours, And you know what? I'm sorry, I stand corrected. You had to do it 4 times, because I did it in the morning, afternoon, late evening, and before you went to bed. Yep, 4 times a day. And what they do is, when they, like this whole wall right here, they send this stuff to you, and it comes in different concentrations, and they send you close to the boxes about this big. Each one of the boxes had this big bag of distillate or whatever, the fluid solution, and you have it all over there. It would have covered this whole wall, and you get packaged. They come, each month. They just send you more and more and more. And the craziest thing is that when I got the transplant, you know, I'm calling them saying, hey, y'all gonna come pick this up? They're like, no, you know, you could just
to give them hope as they move forward, because hope is everything.
right, right.
That little ant, just what make that little ant think he can move a rubber tree plant. Okay, they did kick me out the choir. So
I never heard that one before.
you never did? He's got high hopes. He's
Oh,
got
okay,
high hopes.
okay.
He's got
That part, yeah.
something in the sky. Okay, there we go.
But I need to ask one thing. Just one thing. I made some chicken. I made some jerk chicken thighs with rice. I need to make sure it didn't burn. Can you give me a 10-second pause?
Do whatever you gotta do. I'll continue talking because I don't want to pause it because then I'll probably mess up.
Oh,
But
it'll be. I'm just gonna take it out the oven. Put it on.
Go for it.
You know,
Go for
do
it.
like that.
We don't want you to mess up your limits thing.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. But once again, guys, I just want to say that when you are going through an impasse, when new opportunities are presented to you, find whatever it takes to give you that strength, that encourage to pull through, because sometimes the minutia, sometimes the small things may seem like a headache or bothersome, like taking care of your health when you already know that you have diabetes and making sure that you're on the right diet, doing little errands, like he said, for the football team, running the cart. So many things in life may seem like errands and minutia, but once again, they lead to a greater purpose in the end. So keep yourself motivated through the idle stuff. Keep yourself motivated as you move forward with your vision, your plan, whatever it may be. One of the great things about Coach Massie is, I didn't read it to you guys, or I didn't read it while he was on the phone, but his mantra for school was, oh gosh, if I can find it. His mantra for school is that he wants to help students with recruitment, or help the athletic program with recruitment, matriculation, and retention, and graduation of students. So he's looking to, once again, have a full blown out plan to make sure that the students are not stressors for you. Did you hear people communicate stressors to you? Like, do you hear?
Oh.
So Coach, as we close, I wanted to just once again, thank you so much for speaking with me today and discussing the many things that you've been able to accomplish. The willpower, the determination, the support system, so many things to reach new heights or higher heights than what is traditionally done. Is there anything else that you would like to close with? Any other words of advice that you would like to offer, especially for individuals who may be facing higher stress situations at this time?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a, very, that could be a whole show in itself. But before I say that, I really want to, I appreciate you even considering having me here. I'm a talker at times, and you had me talking about things I didn't think I would share with many people. But I just felt comfortable, and it was like, hey, I'm trying to enjoy this. But I'll tell you this: one of the biggest challenges. I'm sorry.
I just said thank you.
Oh, no problem. One of the biggest challenges, I think, for people that are going through these type of situations, is fear of the unknown. They don't know what's next. COVID. We don't know. People taking the vaccine. They don't know how people's bodies are going to respond to it 6 months from now, because we haven't even got to that point, or whatever. There's so many unknowns in that, and so that instills a lot of fear. A lot of anxiety. Having went to Tuskegee University, I'm very familiar with the Tuskegee experience, not personally. And if I probably dug deep enough, my mother's from Auburn, which is right down the road. Maybe there's someone in our extended family that may have been, tested or a part of that test. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because I have family that in Macon and in Lee County. But anyways, you can't get stuck in your current situation, in my opinion. You kind of, for me, planning, like, you had mentioned before about planning. I'm like, okay, how do I maneuver through this COVID situation that I dealt with personally, and still be the leader that I need to be because I know these student athletes and coaches need me? And then how do I balance that without jeopardizing my health? You know, and what were some of the limitations I had? Well, of course, I'm working from the house, so that was one. You know, then you know the communication between the coaches and the student athlete, everybody's all over the place. You know, so I gotta think a little bit differently in the way I do. You know, so when I get faced with challenges, I start looking at how can I approach this, you know, and eat this elephant one bite at a time. And when you have a plan, in my personal opinion, when you have a plan for the things that you kind of have an idea that you're going to face, it minimizes your stress. It's like going to a football game. If you see a coach that's yelling and screaming all throughout the game, they didn't plan, you know. But if a coach gets frustrated because of
Wow.
the situation, yeah, if you didn't practice or plan, you up there, what are we going to do on 4th and 1 on the goal line? You know, and he's sitting up there, they got to call a timeout. Well, okay, you know, worst case scenario, I'm just, you didn't plan for it. You know, did you, you know, do you have your ducks in a row? You know, is your insurance paid? Do you have your deductible in case you do have to go to the doctor? Okay, do I have a credit card for the deductible because I don't have a cash? I don't know. And a lot of people have to start thinking about those things a little bit and working on it. And then surrounding themselves with people that care about them, not people that just want to see you fail. Sometimes you gotta let them go. You know, this people that, you know, they want to get close to you so they can laugh at you. They want to be able to, you know, they wallow in their own misery. You gotta be able to identify that. And the people that's not there in your corner when you're down. I mean, I joke with my son about it. I said people only want. I said you find out when you have good friends in two basic situations. When you need to borrow some money or you need to move. And you tell somebody I'm moving, you find out who your friends are. Will they come and help you move? Or when you broke and you need to borrow some money? You know, so, you know, he laughed about it. I said, but think about it. You know, I said, when you move, you know, when you move, who's going to be there for you? And I said, you can apply that a little bit. So you got to surround yourself with people that have a genuine care for you. If they don't care about you in the little stuff, you know, they ain't going to care about you with the big stuff come down. They checking on you to see how you doing. But see, here's the other thing. I think a lot of us expect people to check on us, but are we also checking on them? You know, so you have counselors on campus that our students can go to. So they got to seek help. You know, we talk about it at every Blue Bear meeting. That's when we have all our students there. We talk about, you know, them having, you know, I talk about it with my head coaches about ensuring that they're monitoring their student athletes to see who's not acting the way they normally do. You know, and you know, then you're talking about the relationships that these students are having, not being able to have relationships. You know, there's just so many complex things going on, that we have to, as leaders, we have to be resilient and be on point, and we got to also take care of ourselves as well. But anyways, I'm not no psychologist or
No, 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 no,
psychiatrist
no.
or
And everything you're
therapist.
saying is everything everything you're saying is excellent. The thing is also making sure that they're getting the right care and the right treatment.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are going for treatment that are being misdiagnosed or misunderstood.
True.
So, you know, making sure that you get the counselor that understands you. And I'll give you a quick example. Just being transparent. After my divorce, you know, after my separation, etc., I went to a therapist just to see, like, you know, if I was wrong, and if there's something I need to correct for future relationships and all this other kind of stuff. And the therapist that I went to was the first one that I went to was an African-American therapist. And she was telling me all the things that I'm doing wrong and all this other kind of stuff. I didn't buy into some of what she said. And so I went to a Caucasian therapist. And when I went to that particular therapist, just being transparent, because I grew up in Parsippany, New Jersey, because I grew up around all white people, when we started talking, we were laughing and joking. And she's like, you know, you sound good to me. She said, look, the people that I know that have been through what you've been through with your parents' recent death and everything, you know, they would be on pills or, you know, in some, you know, saying, look, commit me or whatever, but you are doing well. And so I went to another, just to make sure, I went to another white counselor afterwards, just to make sure, just to get a, you know, like I one yes, one no, etc. And the next white counselor that I went to, he said the same exact thing. He said, you're so much stronger than the other people that I've seen. So going to the right counselor counts, because if you go to a counselor that doesn't understand you, that doesn't, I mean, you know, you're a teacher, you're in administration, that doesn't understand your thought process, doesn't understand your expressive and receptive language, you know, how are you communicating and how are you receiving things, then they can make a diagnosis that can actually you know, that could lead you down the wrong pathway. So it's a matter of having the help you need, but also getting the right help you need. And I'm very grateful that, you know, my parents placed me in several different environments so that I can see different things and be around different people. My parents never allowed me growing up. I grew up in Parsippany, New Jersey. There were 16 African Americans out of 1,700 students in the school, right? Majority white, right? So now you understand why I say I could relate to, or we could have a conversation. But at the same exact time, I'm from East Orange, New Jersey, which was probably like 95% African American. And so on the weekends, my parents made me go down to East Orange. My parents had me, you know, I went to Passaic, and in Passaic, it was, you know, there was the urine in the elevators and all the graffiti and all that other kind of stuff. And my parents would have me go there. And my parents always wanted me to make sure that I saw different people in different lights. I didn't stereotype, I didn't judge, I didn't predict, etc. So my only thing is with mental health, making sure that you don't have, you know, 4 counselors with the same exact background, because if you have 4 counselors with the same exact background, if you have 4 people that are going to tell you that it's orange, right, and you believe that it's blue, then by the time you go to all 4, you're probably going to be blowing out spit bubbles because nobody understood your perspective of it. So my only thing is when you're doing mental health, make sure you have the spectrum available, because people come from different backgrounds, different frames of references, different house, you know, different you know, family dynamics and all the rest, and just making sure that you have someone that's relatable and not judging or assessing or assuming or presuming or any of that kind of stuff that, once again, that can lead to a very detrimental whole. That's my whole thing. So
totally understand.
Cool. Well, listen, Coach, you are awesome. You are so awesome and a true hero. And I
don't know about that hero part. I'll take the awesome.
You are. Look, you served us. Okay, so you are an officer, and like I said, you've done so many other things that are phenomenal. But I wanted to just thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for even your role at the universities, because you know that we all impact lives. If we work with kids, we impact them one way or the other. We impact them where they're saying, look, you know what, I want to be more like that person, or look, I don't want to be nothing like them. Just give me on the other end, on the other end of the street, you know.
Yeah, when I became AD, I had to watch my Facebook post because I was a little bit off the chain. Not in a disrespectful way, but I was like, because my daughter was like, I'm gonna unfriend you because you are just too much. And I was like, oh. Then when I became the AD, I was like, oh boy, I need to go back and pull some of these. Nothing disrespectful or outlandish, but I was like, oh, that was a little extra. But I
always get in trouble for the TikToks, because my daughter's like, Ma, you can't dance. Don't get on there and embarrass yourself. So because she says don't dance, you're gonna embarrass yourself. You know what I do? I find more students to dance with me and put them on there, right? It's just like, oh, Ma, take that down. You're embarrassing me. You can't dance. You can't dance. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's what I get in trouble for, my TikToks with my daughter. But well, once again, thank you so much for everything, and we will definitely be in touch. We'll definitely be in touch on a lot of different topics. So
not a problem. Anytime. You just let me know.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye now.